All right, so let's talk about chord-scale relationships. If you've been trying to study improvisation or study with a teacher or gotten books or other videos, I'm sure you've probably heard or seen charts or whatnot that say, okay, with this chord you can use this scale, and with this chord you can use this scale. They're absolutely right. It's absolutely true, and you can approach your improvisation like that. I'll tell you honestly, for me, when I was learning how to improvise, that was the most confusing thing ever for me because it seemed very non-organic. It just didn't seem like, really, that's how you improvise? Just like pick like whatever the notes of the chord are, this scale, okay, well I play this scale, and you just go up and down, and you play this scale, up and down. The reality is that it's really, what are you going to do with those notes? Now, you see in the examples that we've done so far, you see this, once again, this melodic shape. The problem that I find when students start thinking about chord-scale relationships is that they say, okay, it's a G7 chord, so I can use mixolydian. And it's G minor, so I can use Dorian. And C7 is mixolydian again. And F6, I use my F major scale there, okay? Or I can use my pentatonic scale. Right? The problem is, it doesn't sound like improvisation. It doesn't sound like a line. It's like da 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 da. You're just going up and down, up and down. Now, I found another way in which you can approach and still get to that same concept. And what's great about this, it works perfectly with the whole chord-scale relationship idea, and it actually helps you to learn the chord-scale relationship idea better. All right? So let's talk about that. What I've done here is I've written out an example here. Let me play it for you. Sorry. Okay, so let me play that again. Now let's talk about what this is. If I were to look at this chord-scale relationship-wise, right, so still all mixolydian. Okay, there's my mixolydian scale. This would all be Dorian. I do an approach in there, okay? That's all off of my mixolydian scale as well for C7, and then I end on a third of F. Now, what I've done, though, is I've broken it down into chord tones and tensions. So check out what we have here. We have the root, the ninth, the third. The 11th is a passing tone. It's not really a tension that you would use on a G7 chord. Right? However, if you're playing it in passing like that, it's fine. And it's also hitting on an upbeat. And like I said before, that upbeat means that it is not going to be as emphasized. It's not going to be as strong. It's not like I'm starting, on the beat. So anyway. Then I go to my 5th, 7th, 13th, and then 5th. And now I move to G minor 7. I'm at my root, 7, 5, and I'm going to get over to my third of C. So I do this approach, this chromatic approach, and I go to the third of C, the 9th, the root, the 7th, and then the third of F6. Now, if I take out all of the approaches, or if I take out all of the non-chord tones, I haven't tried this yet. Let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, not bad. So you can still hear that line. You can still hear the harmony in there quite nicely. So what you'll also notice is that a lot of these tensions are hitting on where? Upbeats, okay? They're not hitting on that downbeat because that downbeat is much stronger and it's going to be much more emphasized. And if I start, so if I hit a tension on a downbeat, I'm not saying that you can't do it. Obviously, in the heat of the moment, play it, all right? The improvisation police aren't going to come and arrest you. It's okay. But if you're really, trying to create better lines and more, cohesive lines that sound good, you're not going to start on that tension on a downbeat. You're going to use it as a passing tone or on an upbeat. So anyway, when you look at your line like this, now you can start to see, oh, okay, yeah, I'm still getting to my mixolydian or my Dorian or whatnot scale. However, now I am understanding the relationship of every note I am playing. Let me say that again. It's really important. When you do it this way, you're understanding the relationship of every note you're playing to the chords. Now, let me tell you where it's a little bit different. I remember in those chord scale charts and whatnot, it would say, okay, here's your scale, but your avoid notes are circled. Well, why are they avoid notes? Why do you avoid them? Why can't you play them? Well, once you start to understand how that note interacts with the chords, it starts to make it easier to say, oh, okay, it's because it's an 11th. And an 11th on a dominant 7th chord isn't all that strong. It's a tension. That I would use it as a passing note instead. Okay? Also, when you view it like this and you're looking for those chord tones, it's going to be much easier for you to create that real strong line because you know, bam, hit those chord tones on the downbeats, all right? At least for right now. As you get to being a more advanced player, of course you can change all of that around. It's not going to be that strict, okay? But if you're just beginning, you're just learning, that's what you're looking for. So anyway, hope that helps, and yeah, I think you'll enjoy that approach. So I'll see you in the next chapter.